next couple days, so I apologize.
You know how many emails we get now? Even more, even worse.
I know.
I just happened to look on my thing and said, "Oh wow, I forgot the thing was today."
Yeah.
It ain't like we was out ripping and running doing anything anyway, huh?
Right, exactly. That's why I thought we'd have a more captive audience, because everybody, every time I get stopped or anybody reaches out to me, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy with the Hooties thing. I always want to come there, but I got to work. But now you're at home."
And they still got an excuse. They ain't even at work and still don't come.
Exactly. Man, somebody uses that again, I'm gonna say liar.
That's how you got to do it. So, so how's things been going with you? Chauncey has been going good with even though this COVID-19, still finding deals and stuff, or what?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It kind of slowed down a little bit. But we're still actively, marketing and blessing our campaign. We're started a couple other campaigns to kind of target some people that might be having some trouble during this COVID-19. Especially with we haven't had this issue for the most part, but especially with tenants having saying they were going to go on strike. I mean, but out of our whole portfolio, we've only had six tenants lose their job, so we're looking at that piece. But I think one of the saving graces is the fact that almost half our portfolio is Section 8, which is going to be our guaranteed income producer.
So you said thank you for Section 8 on this one, huh?
He said, "Oh man, this is where this is what we strive." When people say, "Oh no, we don't like to do Section 8, they tear your property up." Well, at the end of the day, we still getting paid for it. But outside of that, yeah, we're pretty good, man. How about you?
Yeah, everything's been pretty good for me now. Everybody's paid, so except for our one bad tenant, we always keep at least one of them. But the basics have all paid. Last one paid yesterday, and we're all caught up with everybody, so it hasn't really been a big effect yet. Now, I don't know if that's going to go into next month into May, but I did see that thing that you were talking about too, about the rent strike, the St. Louis rent strike. Nobody's going to pay rent on April 1st. Yeah, right. Get kicked out. Play with me.
You be in court the first day the government bill that open back up.
Right.
Yeah, but it would have been an issue. Our approach is always people first. So we kind of anticipated this happening. So what we did was for 2 days when social distancing first got put into place before it became mandatory, we went away from cold calling and just called all of our tenants and made sure that we let them know that we're here, whatever you need, let us know, and give us advance notice. So we can start working with you now. Some people have already been put on payment plans once they go back to work. Others that were anticipating potentially being laid off also got put on payment plans, but they just in case so they could get some leverage within their rents. But it's been cool though, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, our strategy is gonna shift with all this. Our numbers have gotten. Our offers have gotten a little bit lower than what we used to, for understandable reasons. So I say all that to say that even with that being said, I had a lady call yesterday and then shoot an email on some properties that she's been sitting on, but now she's like, there's no point of me even wasting my time with it. So, that was a good opportunity for us as well. But then going the extra mile, like we bought a house from an elderly couple. Elderly couple that was moving to a retirement facility. So they couldn't find any movers that were reasonable with all this going on. So we just had our clean out crew go in there and help them move into the retirement facility.
Dang, look at that, providing value on every end of the deal.
Got to, man. That's how you get them deals.
That's right. Yeah, what we did is kind of we waived the late fees. We had 2 people late this month, but we did waive the late fee. We told them that don't worry about the late fee this month. Just go ahead and get that payment in. And we didn't have really any problem other than a few days late, because ours is due on the 28th and late on the 1st. So we had a couple people pay after the 1st, and they just got to keep that late fee money. They was happy, like, oh yeah, thanks a lot for working with me. I said, yeah, pay that rent.
Yeah, we had the same thing, man. We waived the late fees as well, but there hadn't been no issues for real for the most part.
Yeah. So can I ask a quick question of everybody? Since real estate is considered an essential service, Are we covered by that?
Hell yes.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
gotta
I
live
knew you'd
somewhere.
answer that.
You got to live somewhere, right?
Well, okay, because tomorrow I have to show a property.
I'll show
Bring a
it.
mask.
Huh?
Bring some hand sanitizer. Bring mask.
Oh, I have them all. I mean, I'm a nurse.
You know that.
Well, then, so just so you know, that mask isn't going to protect you at all. That
No?
mask is to protect other people from
Protect the
you.
other people.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's
Yeah,
the same
so
with
you don't
any-
spread it.
It's the same with any PPE. With the gloves, they're not to protect you. They're protect the others from you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to
The
make
mask
sure
is
you
good
touch.
because you don't touch your face, so that's a great thing about the mask.
I saw
Well,
a guy.
it is. So, as a nurse, I was a trauma nurse for 36 years. I've been a trauma nurse. You have no idea how miserable it is for those doctors and those nurses to work in that thing all day long. I mean, to wear one for 5 minutes is sheer hell. To have to work in it all day, I can't imagine.
Right.
There's no way.
Things become pretty muggy and slimy real fast.
Well, and the worst part is when when you're using universal precautions, which is gown, glove, and mask, before you leave the room of the patient, federal protocol calls for you to remove all of that, and you remove it in a certain manner, and it goes into a biohazardous waste receptacle. Then you scrub as you leave the room, and you go out and you change. Now we were so grossly ill prepared for this. We don't have any PPE. So they're wearing the same stuff from patient to patient to patient all day long. So not only is the corona getting spread, so is everything else. But there's nothing they can do. So if you can avoid going to a hospital, do it at all costs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I
I'm
had
gonna
a
stitch myself up.
Well, I'm a nurse. I don't go to the doctor. I diagnose myself. I got a master's degree in nursing. I can figure it out.
Right.
Okay. I only go to a doctor if I absolutely have to. But I have some questions. So I have, I'm getting stuff that is not, it's off market, but it's retail. So I just got a former Cardinal baseball player's house. You should see it. It is a humdinger.
Well, the only thing is with that stuff is it has to be marketed to a person that's actually going to move in it. That's the only person that's going to pay retail.
Well, so what I did was, because as you know, I don't know if you know, but I know some of you know, I have a brother that is the largest private real estate developer in the United States, and he's worldwide. So the first thing I did was pick up the phone and call him. What do I do? He's like, where are you? I said, I'm headed there now. I'll meet you there. So we go snooping through the house, and the house is it's beautiful, but it's ultra modern. And it'll only appeal to a certain clientele to begin with, and then you got to have really deep pockets. So his business partner sits on the board of Washington University. So the first thing he's doing is taking it to the university. Then, because they will buy properties like that for incoming, professors or visiting dignitaries or whatever. So the other thing he said was he's going to reach out to all the major law firms and his buddies that sit higher up in those law firms, because he runs in a whole other circle than I do, and see if any of them are interested in it, and then to coastal investors. So that's what we're working on now. And then I just signed a contract for 128 acres in Wildwood, which I'm going to take to developers. And then I just got one today. I don't know why everybody, I should thank God for this, but this is a 4-bedroom ranch in Webster Groves. And it has a complete apartment, newly built in the basement of it. So it has 2 full kitchens, 2 washer dryer hookups, one up, one down. It has, it's a newly renovated home. It has a huge deck off the back. It's a beautiful home. And for $460, which for its neighborhood, that's pretty average. So I'm going to start marketing that. I've got one in South County in Oakville. I've got one in Dogtown. Let's see. I'm trying to think of I've got so much stuff.
Because yeah, that's the whole thing though. When they're trying to get those retail prices, the only person going to pay that is either a person's going to live there or a person that's looking for turnkey, like you said, those coastal buyers. That's it. The other
Well,
a retail
so that's
house
when
is
I go
hard
to
to
my
sell,
brother.
even on the
That's when I go to
MLS.
my brother and his contacts. So to put it out there, but there is, I've got these 4 families in Botanical Heights, which I have somebody looking at those tomorrow. I've got the 4 building 12 units in Soulard, which that is just an absolute unbelievable property.
12 unit in Soulard. What's that? Like
Yeah.
1.5 million?
Yes.
He's teasing. Don't listen to him. We
That's
talked
exactly
about
the price. That's the price.
How about 1.49999? No.
from talking to me. But this is 4 buildings. It's a combination of 2 2s, 2 1s, and 1 1s. But it has been completely renovated. Everything is completely updated. Stainless steel appliances, all new HVAC, newer roofs, new everything. Immaculately cared for, beautiful piece of property. Fully rented. The only issue with this property is she is grossly under market on her rents. And I told her, I said, you need to tell your tenants that when these buildings sell, those rents are going up.
Skyrocket.
Okay? Because you're way under.
Wow. So they kept them at the same rent for 5 years or something silly like that?
Well, yes, because she's like, well, they've lived here forever and I don't feel right doing that. I'm like, Margaret, this is a business. It's not your friend. So
What's the rental average on those properties?
what are they averaging?
Yeah. Because you talking about what's it, 6 doors?
12.
Well,
It's that one I told you about yesterday, Chauncey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That one.
I have to pull up the rent roll to
It's the
tell you.
gross. I'm sorry. Yeah, the gross is like 140. The net is 90 a year, 90K a year. The gross is 140, but you got some at 900, some at 990, some at the two ones are going for like 1150 or something like that, where they should probably be more like 1250, maybe 13.
13.
And even when this thing finished, this COVID-19 thing goes on, that building will be probably better served as an Airbnb in that area. Just looking at it, I won't even be doing rentals over there.
No,
Only scary thing about Soulard is this as far as Airbnb. So a lot of the Airbnbs at Soulard have to do with the NGA site that's across from the brewery right now. So last I checked, about around 30 of the occupied units down in Soulard are going to be the people that work for the DOD or around the DOD. That's on like the subleasing or short-term leasing agreement. So with that being said, when you get that out the way, like my fear is in 3 years when NGA moves to the north side and what we see going over in Hyde Park and College Park and Old North, will Soulard have that as much value as it does now, at least for the rentals market and in shared space like Airbnb?
I would say it would because it's pretty close to the baseball stadium and all the other stuff downtown.
Yes.
It's pretty
I
close
think
to that stuff.
Soulard will always hold its value. Now, this particular property, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that was your own feedback.
Was it? Okay. This particular property sits 1 block from the market. So when you walk out the front door, so there's 2 front buildings, 2 rear buildings, which is very common in that area of the city. When you walk out the front door, you look across the street is the big Lutheran Cathedral, and then 1 block to your right, you see the market.
Right. So I think that area will hold its value. It's probably going to only go up, especially with downtown being so close. I don't see where it's going to just lose value overnight.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who live in Soulard are living for the neighborhood. If it's close to work, great. But if their work is only moving across town, that won't necessarily take them out of Soulard. They like the whole scene.
Yeah, I mean, Chauncey, I get your point, but are you saying that the people at the NGA are going to move to the North City from Soulard? That'd be my own.
Well, not necessarily. I'm not thinking like that part because we got people that live in suburban, like over there with you in St. Clair and Edwardsville that work for the DOD that still that still travel. But I'm thinking about, so I got some friends at NGA, and so they're going to double. So what we got to recognize is how many people are on assignment for a year, 6 months to a year, that sub or get a one-time 1-year lease.
Yeah.
That of course, the government covers pieces of that on the subsidy side, and they stay 2-3 blocks or within the Soulard area. But they do not they're not trying to relocate or move to St. Louis or buy in the Soulard area. They're just trying to lease for the terms and while they're assigned here under the DOD.
True.
So my fear is plenty of people have these Airbnbs and are leasing down there. That the market may show some influx once they get back once the NGA is moved to the north side and people are no longer what's going to be the need of people that's trying to rent or sublease or Airbnb for a couple weeks in that area.
Gotcha.
Now, yeah, for the most part, we know it's a tourist thing. We have plenty of bars and restaurants that's an attraction for Soulard. Is that going to be long term? Is that going to be the same in 3 years when the $1 billion NGA building opens up?
Well, I mean, it's been that way for, I'm 57. It's been that way for 37 years because I've been going. I mean, when I was a kid, I went to them. But my question is what effect are the new rules the city's going to implement on Airbnbs? What effect is that going to have on them?
I mean, are they planning on changing the rules? Have they said something about changing it?
Yes. You're going to get a lot more strict on them.
Does that cover all short-term rentals, or is it just anything 1 day or less, or anything 30 days or less? Or
they said Airbnb.
Well, I mean, they probably want to say short-term rental is the real probably term they would want to use if they're going to write some legislation. Plus, like I said, are they doing 30 days or less, 24 hours or less? What stipulations are they adding? And is it going to really affect that?
Well, what I assumed from the way they were talking is they were really going to hit them tax-wise on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was my initial, thought process when they started talking about it all. Because right now in the city, there's very little rules.
It's the wild, wild west, baby. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, there are, because, my family has a deli on the hill and there's quite a few of them right around it. And, I mean, nobody sees them there. I don't think anybody sees them as a problem, but I think there are some in some areas that they do see as a problem. So that's why they're kind of cracking down and they see it as a way to get more money.
Well, yeah, definitely. But, it's not going to really work, I don't think, to be honest. They can pull something, but it's going to always be a loophole, always a way to get around it because the tax laws are written for real estate investors when we all get done with all of the stuff they're trying to do.
Yes.
So that's not even, now if they said we banning it, no short-term rentals, this, that, now that's something totally different. Just taxing it, whatever, we'll play that game when it's time to play.
I think that's what they're talking about is taxing it. I don't think they're talking about banning it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think you'd have to be a fool in the city of St. Louis to ban it because just with the NGA coming in, there's all of those vacant, 2 families and 4 families in North City that can be gone in and renovated and have beautiful properties for these people to move into, which will then again restabilize those neighborhoods or help restabilize them, especially like Chauncey was when he was talking about College Hill and Hyde Park.
But then you got to look at the whole thing too, though. When you start talking about the government, they can cause more problem than they can sometime of helping a situation, i.e. the $1 LRA houses. Some of them houses, what you going to do with that? How good did that work? You know what I mean?
Well, that didn't work at all. You're right. Because that was just dumb. But either way. Because
we want families to move in. We don't want it for you investors. We want families to get in, put $100,000 in renovations into a house worth about $50,000. It ain't gonna work. Numbers don't work.
And if those families don't have the money to do that renovation nor the knowledge to do it.
So do you know that there's only been 2 houses that actually are going that got approved once it was trying to get sold at the dollar sale.
Are you kidding
I mean,
me?
No, and then also that was also just a move by aldermen to make some leverage for re-election.
It's always political. That's why we gotta follow the politics and follow the money.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, don't worry, we're trying. We're trying to do a good job.
Well, I mean, I still think, and I went to Rich about this a little while ago, where your success is only as good as your team is and your group is. And so, you know, I went to him because of his knowledge base in some properties I had. And so let's joint venture and work together to see what we can pull off and what we can do. And I'm willing to do that with anyone to really build a good team. Because I get a lot of things sent my way. And, you know, I'll be the first one to admit that some of it is above my knowledge base, you know, and so you need to have people you can trust that you can look to help you and figure some of this stuff out. And, you know, that fancy guy down there with all the snazzy clothes and the hats that match his shirts and his jackets, I pick on his brain all the time. You know who I'm talking about, Rich?
Wait. I don't know where. Oh no, I was gonna say on my screen is this guy.
All the way around.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I think that, and I know I have a partner that I work with too, that I think Lauren has spoken to Phil Hearn once or twice.
Yeah, I didn't know the two of you were working together. I started networking and building a relationship with him this January or December. So that's cool. That's very cool.
But the deal is that, you know, it's a lot to keep up with. It's too much to keep, except I don't know how Chris does it, but it's too much for me to keep up with by myself. So hence that's the reason I wanted to, you know, come up with a group to work with.
Laura knows everybody. Y'all know that by now.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I've been doing this a long time. So I'm glad to know you guys, everybody on this call for sure. So appreciate it.
Well, you know, I've had a couple of people come to me that have rehabbed some of these little homes up in North County, and they can't sell them right now for anything.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. See, there's a lot of property. It can be great. It can be perfect condition. That's not the problem. If the marketplace dictates all of us, regardless what you think, I think, what a real estate agent think, what anybody think, the marketplace gonna keep us all straight. If the price too high, it ain't gonna sell. I don't care who got it and how great it is and how good the stainless steel and whatever else they did. If the price too high, they're not buying it. You know, and that's just reality. And a lot of people don't want to accept that as reality. And I'll tell a seller straight up, you know, it's just not, I mean, it's what it is. We have to deal with the marketplace we're dealing with, whether it's coronavirus, whether it's the presidential election this year or whatever other, you know, whims of the marketplace, we still have to deal with that. We can't ignore it.
Well, I had to tell two of them that today. Okay. They're like, what do you mean that's all they offered? And then, you know, at least I got you an offer.
Exactly.
Other offers. Okay. And that's why, because they're like, well, that house should go for 40, or, you know, I'm like, you know, 6 weeks ago it would have, but it isn't doing it now.
And you see the reason why I specialize in creative real estate, because every house I've sold for at or above what it would have sold for on the MLS. You just saw that yourself on that deal y'all just did, right, Laura? That house that wouldn't sell before that, subject to it, whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've been like digging into seller financing. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've done a regular seller finance, seller carried the note, and I've done a subject to. It is easier to get in these deals right now than it, maybe my mind, I'm sure also my mind is just more open right now because I'm looking to do whatever I can. But creative financing right now is absolutely the language I'm speaking with people. I'm not leaving anything on the table about that, and I'm getting deals done that way. And Chris is right. I mean, I sell them at higher prices, and everyone is still happy. Seller and buyer are still happy. I still get my fee. I haven't had to discount my fee on either one of them either, so it's been great.
Exactly. They're not so sensitive on the price. They're more sensitive on the monthly payment, the term, stuff like that, which is all negotiable. We negotiate to get the deal locked up low on a regular wholesale deal. Just a few more steps to negotiate the rest of the deal and make it a win-win for everybody involved. And there's plenty of money in the deal sometimes, especially if the house don't need any work. What's the excuse of having a vacant house for a year, 2 years? And there's sellers I've come across like this. Oh, I've been trying to sell it for a year. Are you crazy? Let me give you some other options here. You got a vacant house or a house with a mortgage on it. You're paying every month $1,500 a month. How much money is that? Just wasted. Utilities and all the other stuff on a vacant house. Nobody wins when the house is vacant.
Okay, so I have one right now that's vacant in Oakville, and actually, it's in excellent shape. It's just ugly on the inside. It's got a
Don't
new
matter.
roof. Well, listen, it's got a new roof. It has new HVAC, new plumbing, new electrical. It needs a new back door on the garage. But then in the backyard, I explained this to you the other night, didn't I, Chris? Where the developer of this property dug a hole and threw all this construction waste in it. Wood, cinder blocks, bricks, you name it, okay? So that opened up a little bit. So then the guy dug it all up, took the junk out. Now we got to fill the dumb thing back in, and I don't know how to fill it in. But this builder did this all throughout this neighborhood. All right. So there's quite a few of these. So that's the biggest issue with the house. Other than the kitchen is ugly, but it's in good shape and it's clean. So
that shouldn't be a problem though. That's a simple fix in a lot of ways. And matter of fact, the very first subject to deal that I did, the house had a swimming pool that was in the backyard, i.e. a hole, just like you just got through saying, but it wasn't filled with trash, but it was a big hole. So he had to spend money to build a retaining wall to stop that from making the house slide back and do some other stuff. The guy that moved in the house did all that. I didn't do none of that. You see what I'm saying? I didn't put the brunt on me fixing that.
So maybe
problem.
I should talk to you about this.
Yeah. What's up? Who is that? Ernesto?
Oh, is that Ernesto? I thought you couldn't make it, man.
I got off.
Ernesto, he
How's
escaped.
everybody doing?
Good. Welcome to the Hooties House Buyers Club. We got Rich, we got Fabian, we got Chauncey, we got Laura, Christine, Keith, and who else in here that ain't got a camera on or something?
Nobody now. I think everybody's on.
Oh, we all 100% camera ready. That's what I'm talking about.
We are. Yep, absolutely.
So but yeah, Christine, most of these deals, and I tell the seller, I mean, you can sit and wait and pray that it sells, but many houses that I've done deals with, they've been on the MLS for 200 plus days, stuff like that. Crazy. Who sits up and sit on the MLS for almost a year? And then say, oh, I don't know why it ain't selling. Well, maybe you need to do a different strategy. It ain't working. You can drop the price. That's one option, but that's not always the best option. Or you can do this creative deal where you can get this thing off your back and get some money either coming in or either some money to come in to cover that mortgage. You don't want to be paying out on a house that nobody lives in for vacant for a long period of time. That's a loss.
So Rich, would that work on that house in St. Anne?
No, because it needs about 80 grand in work.
Okay, just
maybe no. I apologize. Not 80. That's 50. I was thinking of a different house.
That's okay, but I was just asking because I didn't
it
view
needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. If it was in great shape, it might.
Would it work in Granite City?
You know what? It might. It might. Yeah, she just wants to get rid of it. I mean, she just wants to be out.
And that's the people we looking for. You want to get rid of it? I got about 5 ways to help you get rid of this thing. You can choose the one you want. If you want to get this low ball offer, fine. If you want a price that's more reasonable that we can work out a deal that works good, fine. It's up to you. I give them the option. I don't try to make them do anything.
Right.
Well, hey guys, can't you do a creative deal on a house that needs a lot of work as long as your buyer is an investor, rehabber buyer?
Yes, ma'am. You can creative finance anything. I can creative finance this hat if I wanted to. Yes, ma'am.
That other one that needs the $50K, fine, just market it to rehabbers and make sure that they know that the upside and the reason for the higher price is the
thing is they want way more. So I mean, they almost want, I don't want to say retail, but they want so much, and they're not flexible at all.
So what, they got a loan on it or something? Or what's the deal?
No, it's the guy's older. His parents bought it when he was in like junior high school, so it's sentimental. That's what it is. He wants you to pay for his memories.
It ain't happening, bro.
Yeah,
Pay for
Hey,
his
you know-
memories.
right.
The only thing that can help you on something like that is time. You just follow up over time. Don't give it too much time. Give it a little time over time. That's all you can do. Because something might happen financially where his memories don't cost so much.
Right.
Well, this house has been on the market for like what, 400 days, Rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually had dealt with a real estate investor in the past. They may have been a new investor, I don't know, but they got frustrated with that person, and now they're bitter on real estate investors entirely. But things like they had it on lockbox, which they said, well, I didn't mind, but people went in there and they like dismantled the the heating air blower, furnace air blower, didn't put the things back. They just dismantled it to look at it, didn't put things back, just didn't take care of the property.
So let's come back to the basics. Why is he selling?
It needs a
Because he's
crap ton of work.
almost dead.
It's theirs. Yeah, he's almost dead. And
Well, he'll be dead in a little bit and don't have to worry about it. Talk to his heirs. No.
right. Yeah, no kidding.
So that's what I say. Why is he selling? If you don't solve that problem, all his other junk don't even mean nothing. Numbers don't mean nothing. None of that
His
mean
mom
nothing.
died a couple years ago. It was his mom, his mom and dad's house. Mom died a couple years ago. And they think it's worth they think the ARV on it's like 120. I'm trying to tell them, no, it's like one, if that. If it's 100, between 90 and 100. They're like, no. And I even gave them the comps. Like, no, look, seriously, here they are. The one's right around the corner. This one's right down the street. Whatever. Here's the range. No, I think and they acted like I made up those numbers. I was like, okay, well, whatever. They just think it's worth a lot more than it is. They don't think it needs as much work. It needs the electricity completely redone. And the guy's like, no, you don't have to do that. I'm like, if you're going to rehab it, you're going to have to do that. The guy just kind of argued about how much it needed. And I'm like, okay, well.
So I'll tell him, why don't you fix it up yourself, Mr. Seller? I mean, you're going to fix it all up. We'll buy when you finish fixing it. I don't play these games with these people. Either you want to work with me or you don't. It ain't I'm not mad at you either way.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, good luck to you. Hopefully you find that guy that's going to buy it or woman who's going to buy it or whatever. Good luck to you. I'll follow up with him in a month.
And then you said it was on the MLS. I'll even ask him. It's been on the MLS for all these days. Why do you think it hasn't sold?
And he even put it on Zillow, like, don't come in here with a low ball offer.
Well, 20,000. I don't even want to go that high now.
No, it was. I was like, look, I'm about at 20,000.
Yeah.
Like, no. He wanted like 60 or something like that.
You see, I'm already at the right park, and I ain't seen the house. I ain't never talked to the seller. I already know what the offer is. That's bad, ain't it?
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, some of these people are unreasonable, and it's just, it takes time. It takes time, like Laura said. You got to follow up with them if you want the deal. If not, ain't nothing you can do. Put them on a drip campaign. Drip.
Yep, I am. I'm gonna reach out to them.
But some of these people are just being unrealistic, and there ain't nothing you can do. You can't make them sell it to you. So move on. Don't worry about it. Water off a duck's back.
I mean, I do move on. It's just, what I need to do is really learn your creative financing so that that's an option for me as well as for a buyer.
Well, it only happens if the seller's willing to work with you in that way. Everybody ain't going to do it. I ain't going to say everybody say yes, but for the few that do say yes, we usually get them to the finish line.
Yeah.
When nobody else could help them, a real estate agent can help them listening on the MLS. Most wholesalers definitely couldn't touch it because they need more because of the loan or whatever other situation. Most investors may be like, oh, I only do this type and I only buy cash with my bank and my bank got to approve it, whatever other fine print. So it leaves no other option. I ask them, what are you going to do if you're not able to sell it? And I let them tell me what they're going to do. And then if they don't have a realistic answer for that, you got them.
I mean, you got to remember that, our target seller is about 4% of the market. 4% of the market's all a motivated seller is. Mm-hmm. So now you got to trim that out and okay, who's motivated and who's actually flexible.
Yeah,
narrows it down more.
And it comes down a lot of times to presentation. You say the wrong words to these people, they're done. You shut them off. You can't say the wrong stuff to these people, especially when you're talking about creative or any type of term stuff. You say the wrong thing, they just done. They shut off. They're like, oh no, that's scary to me. And
Right.
You can't say nothing spooky, like any uncertainty. If they feel it coming off of you, you're done.
You mean it's going to stay in my name and you're going to make my payments for me? What?
Okay, can I disagree with you guys on that for one sec? Like, I've never disagreed with Chris Monroe, and I don't totally disagree because you know what I tell myself, because when you think like that, you can get real nervous about talking to people about this stuff. And I know for me, for a long time, it kept me from ever having those conversations. And what I've started to tell myself about a lot of things in life is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So I agree that you want to get like certain wording and certain phrasing down. You got to be able to explain this stuff, and you want them to feel as comfortable as possible. But like when I do creative deals, especially subject to, I will literally tell the person, they'll say, why should I do this? I'll say, you should do this if it's your last resort. And that does a couple things. It sets seller expectations, and it just makes them feel comfortable with me, that I didn't pull any punches, that I didn't tell them what I thought. But I'm also not trying to scare them, right? So
Right.
usually it is their last resort. And I'm just like, if you don't want this to happen, this is my proposed solution. Let's do the best we can. Let's move forward. So like, that's something I try to say to myself is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. These have to be the most motivated people in the market. And you want to do your best, but you're not going to scare away the most motivated person in the market.
Yeah, and the only reason I say it is because a lot of people don't take the time to get the actual training to learn what to say and what not to say. I'm not saying not to take action on it. I'm just saying don't go in there saying, yeah, man, I'm just going to buy a house and this what's going to happen and this and that. You know, saying the wrong things just in general. Just at least have some type of basic knowledge of what you're saying to these people before even presenting that type of option. You know what I mean? And that's all I mean by that.
And I'll be honest with you, I need a vast amount more education on subject to, just because, again, kind of like what Robert was saying earlier, with a full-time job, I'm kind of limited my scope to just the basics and pretty decent at the basics. But I need to know more about subject to, honestly. But you wouldn't go to a person and say, hey, I'll buy your house. How about we do a subject to deal? And not know anything about what that means. So if they say,
Right.
so, okay, tell me more about it, I'm open to it.
And that's exactly my point. I would never even use the word subject to in my sentence ever talking to a seller. I'll tell them, I will break it down in plain English, not like, oh, subject to, we're going to do this. Say, what the heck is a subject to?
Okay, Chris.
They're going to say, what the heck is a subject to? I would never want to throw them into that. I would tell them we will buy your house. We will take responsibility for the maintenance and repairs for the property going forward. The loan will stay in your name temporarily until sometime in the future when we get it cashed out. Something simple like that, not subject to, because what does that mean? Anybody don't know what that is. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. I've heard you say that before, Chris, and that's really a good point. I need to because I'll just say it's called subject to, here's what it is. But I really like that way you go about that.
Yeah, because I try not to scare them off with saying just, stuff that's creepy, scary. I let them know we closed through a real estate attorney. So all of this deal is in writing. So everything's, disclosed. There's no surprises. There's not any sneaky kitchen tabletop closings or anything slick. Just sign here and don't read it. It ain't none of that stuff. Everything's disclosed and we're upfront about everything.
We're not meeting at the back?
I want to kind of rewind. I want to kind of rewind. I think one of the things that what you said before, Chris, even we talking about creative and you're doing seller financing and subject twos, the biggest thing is active listening, right? And so finding out why they want to sell the house. The most recent subject two I did is a family. They used to stay in the house. They rented out to a family member. Of course, that was a clusterfuck. They never paid rent. So they had relocated. They had relocated to California. So now they're carrying a mortgage of $550. Plus, they're living in LA, so who God knows how much the mortgage is down there. They just want that additional $550 back in their pocket and not have to pay for an empty house. That needs minor work. It probably need it's a huge house. It was like almost 3,000 square feet. They need about 10 grand worth of work. And with that being said, but the mortgage on the house still carried I think it was the balance when we did it was almost 50,000. But like I said, the house is a 5-bedroom house, so Section 8 and they'll give us almost $1,100 for the house. So in doing so, you listen to, like I said, that was the gist of it right there. So right in my head, what popped out? Subject to. Okay, well, how about this? I'll pay your mortgage, and if I ever default, I will pay you 2 months, whatever the case is, whatever it is. If mortgage is due on the first, if I haven't paid that on the second, I owe you. And they jumped at the deal. I think it's just, again, going back to knowing your seller, knowing what they're looking for, knowing what they're trying to get out of a deal. This lady didn't want to take any cash home. She just didn't want to pay the $550. She was so adamant on not paying the $550. She was paying $700 a month to knock the premium down to get it over with faster.
And there's a lot of people out here that we can definitely help and add value to in situations just like that. We just closed the deal yesterday for one of my students. They buying a house in Alabama. The people are moving to Arizona. They don't want to deal with that house back in Alabama. They just want to move on with their life. The house don't need any work. nice 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, and they're going to just let them take it over and take over the payments. It's so much easier to do that. Payments like $693. It can rent for like $1,200. So it's like, man, that's a slam dunk, especially if you get the house for no money down.
No, definitely. But look, guys, my phone's about to die. I just want to end with this piece. One of the things I learned when I was a social worker and doing therapy, silence is golden, right? There's an approach called motivational interviewing, which we already know that most of our people that are motivated sellers have issues or problem. We're there to solve it.
That's right.
That's awesome. I'm trying to keep that in mind.
Problemsolvers.com, and I think that phone died out right on time.
I was gonna say, I think his phone died. Your phone died, Chauncey?
I think it did. Ernesto, what are you up to? You still doing some deals over in the Illinois land, being the best real estate agent in Illinois that I know?
Yes, but slow down also a little bit because it's hard to do no open house. And mortgage companies, they're probably going to be delaying with the appraisal and stuff. So we just gotta make sure we have enough time to close and everything.
So they've been slow, is what you're saying?
Yeah, because the appraiser don't want to. I heard something about they're trying to do virtual, but we're not sure if that's gonna work out for an appraiser to go to do a virtual. So
St. Louis County is doing virtual plumbing inspections.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that was Madison. I think it's Madison County. It's doing the virtual housing inspections, like occupancy inspections.
yeah, there's some cities like I think Fairview Heights, they closed down their city hall. So they're you got to be able to call them and schedule one, and it's gonna be delaying. So it's delaying almost everybody, seller and buyer. So we're just trying to extend the closing time. As long as we close, that's all that matters. But it's slow. I'm supposed to be killing it right now, and
Well, aren't the courts closed right now?
yeah.
I thought so.
Yep. So it's making it hard to make deals happen.
Hey, who knows more? Who knows more about like drive-by appraisals and stuff like that? Because I have a house. I'm actually trying to sneak in that little window there. And who's heard about that? And who's doing them? And what? What do you know?
I don't know anything.
Last drive-by appraisal I saw was the bank doing it, and they took the dude's house because they wouldn't let us pay the house off in time. They did a drive-by appraisal. It was worth $90,000 by their drive-by appraisal. He only owed about $80,000, and I think the ARV was like $130. And so they took that man's house, and that's what I think they did. And that was like about a month and a half ago.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've been noticing that too. I'm like, that happened on another house too. We just got down in Barnhart. The bank took these people's house. I think they did it on purpose. You know, sometimes banks are like, "Oh, we'll work with you. Oh, we'll do this." No, they took 10 days to even get us the payoff to even send them. They were like, "This is an attempt to collect the debt. We just want to know the payoff so we can pay it off." Because I was gonna do a subject to and just pay the arrears on the loan and take over the payments on the house because it didn't need anything. Just need somebody to move in there. But kind of find out they end up taking that man's house after they did their drive-by.
Can I ask a question here? I do a lot of foreclosures and a lot of short sales. So is this an option, Chris, where we go in and pay up the arrears and take over the loan?
That's the best way to do it. That's what a lot of the deals I do are. I pay if they owe $2 or $3 grand in back payments. I mean, you know, that's not much money when you really look at the big picture.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's definitely an option, and that's where that subject to and this wraparound mortgage and this other stuff come into play. Because say if they only owe $2 or $3 grand in back payments, they want another $2 grand to move or whatever. That's $5 grand out of pocket plus closing costs, $6 grand to get a house. How many houses could you buy at $6 grand? You know what I mean? When you look at the numbers of it, and that's why I say buying houses outright for cash. I mean, that's cool in some deals, but a lot of times it's not the best or the smartest way of taking action on these deals.
Okay. Because I have one right now I'm dealing with in Ladue. So the deal with Ladue is the property is worth more than the house. Okay, which is often the case in that area. But This one, I think he owes.
You said
he
the
owes
property
quite a
was
bit.
worth. Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
sorry?
The property was worth more than which with the house.
The land is worth more than the house. Yeah.
In Ladue, you're buying the land. You're not buying the house.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Sorry.
So
All right.
let me give you an example. My brother bought a home in Ladue about 25 years ago. And he's a real estate developer. This house sat vacant forever. He watched, finally went in and he looked up the owner and he called him and said, I'll give you $200,000 for it. They said, okay, fine. That property is now worth $2.2 million.
Wow.
Okay. But it's the land. It's not the house. The house is butt ugly, but he says he doesn't.
Wow.
care. So I'm just saying that's how Ladue works. Okay. It depends where, of course, in Ladue that piece of property is. So his property backs up to the single most exclusive country club in St. Louis, and it's called Log Cabin. And your membership has to be inherited into this club. So, but his house sits on
Wait a
there,
minute.
and that's what makes it worth so much money. It surely isn't the house. The house is ugly.
Is
Wow.
that truly the thing called the Good Old Boys Club? That's what that is?
That is the Good Old Boys Club. You got it, baby. It is the Good Old Boys Club. That's what it is. And so if you know where the Bogey Club is on Clayton Road, the Bogey Club only has a 9-hole golf course. Log Cabin has a 9-hole, and they put them together to make it 18 holes. But they're two different clubs. But yes, that is the Good Old Boys Club.
The definition of it.
Oh, it is the definition of it. Yeah, no joke. Every member's about 95.
Wow.
Yeah. But the deal is in Ladue, that's how Ladue works. And so that you, what you're buying is the land, not the property. So I want to sell this thing so that somebody can come in and knock this sucker down and build themselves a McMansion.
Yeah, as long as the numbers make
Because it
sense.
sits right at the corner of Clayton and McKnight.
Hey, I know you've been just sitting there listening to us, Fabian. What's going on with you, man? Haven't heard from you at all.
You know, I got 3 rehabs going. I had a inspection on Friday. You know, I'm just business as usual. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not. Everything's just the same. But you know what? I've got a hard stop. I got to jump off,
Yeah.
and this was really cool. I
Yeah,
can't
awesome.
can't wait for the next one.
I'm doing, if anybody wants to, I mean, you were here today, it's fine. I'm going to do another one in the evening tonight at 6. Just if you're interested, let me know. I'll shoot you the link to that. Otherwise, no, I'm glad y'all came today. This was awesome.
Cool.
But yeah.
We actually got something done today.
Yeah.
Get some
I gotta
work
drop
done.
off, guys. I'll see ya.
Hey, thanks, Fabian. Take it easy.
Enter the work zone.
Yeah, no doubt. He had the whole Matrix thing going, didn't he? Almost.
Yes, he did.
You got your dual monitors going there, Chris?
Oh yeah, 2 monitors, a screen, a computer, 2 phones. What all you need?
And that's what every real estate investor needs just to get started.
Just to get that's your toolkit to begin.
That's right.
2 monitors, 2 phones, 2 this, 2 homes.
Well, you know, my kid went away to college, so I took over his bedroom. And he comes back home and he's like, he walks into his bedroom and he goes, what the hell? I'm like, oh yeah, you're out of here, dude. So he goes, look at all this stuff. I go, I need it all. Sorry.
Yep.
So don't leave my house. You're out.
That's right. I know that's right.
Ernesto, just in case you didn't know, Christine, sorry, is that Ernesto is actually the one who took our potential buyer to the Granite City house.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ernesto's
Thank
the
you.
one.
Yeah, Ernesto, how are you going about showing houses now with this COVID-19?
Precaution, man. Precaution. Make sure don't touch anything. I don't touch anything myself. And have a hand sanitizer in my car. Wipe like on the handles and the door. Wipe it. And before I even touch it, I'll wipe it. Then open the door. Still gotta open the door for them. That's
So
what makes
listen,
sense.
you guys, if you're really worried about the cleanliness of your hands, everybody go to Walgreens and go back to their first aid section where they have bandages and Band-Aids and all of that kind of stuff. And you're going to look for a white bottle, and it's called HibaCleanse, HBICLENS. HibaCleanse is a skin sanitizer that is used by doctors and nurses anytime they're doing an invasive procedure on a patient and afterwards to thoroughly clean with. Okay, so it's not cheap. It's about $15 a bottle, but so that you know, every day I wash, every time I wash my hands, I do a shot of HibaCleanse after, scrub them real good with that, and then rinse that. Because the only true antibacterial soap there is Dial. That's the only one. So when you have a patient in the hospital and you're going to open them up for any reason, you are going to scrub them down with Dial soap first. Okay. Then, the doctors and nurses scrub with the HibaCleanse before they gown, they glove, and they mask. But that will help protect you.
Awesome. HibaCleanse.
Got it.
Yes, HibaCleanse. So you don't get the cooties.
Can you get that on Amazon?
You probably can.
Bigger question, can I get some stock in it? Can I get invested? See, I be looking at the big picture.
Oh, you're always looking at the big picture. Let's see. I don't even know who makes it. So let me see.
Probably
I've been
made
using
by
it for
Procter
100
and
years.
Gamble. I don't know. Just made it.
Made by Dial.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't buy into it anyway. I'm just
No.
messing around.
Right.
I'm too locked into real estate. It's real.
Right.
And it ain't gonna lose value tomorrow for no reason.
HBI cleanse?
HibaCleanse, HIBICLENS.
HibaCleanse.
Because I put in HBI cleanse and the first result was, did you mean colon cleanser?
No, I don't care how
Wow.
clean your colon is.
No, that wasn't the right thing. I was like, I don't think that's what she said they do every time they need
No.
to wipe something down.
HibaCleanse. It's outstanding product, but let's see.
There's a gallon of it on Amazon.
Well, I mean, you can buy it in the bottles. It's
8-ounce bottle for $25.
Really? Let me see
no,
how
it's
much this
$15
costs.
at Walmart.
Oh, okay.
But
Is it
there
this-
is a $1 off coupon on the HibaCleanse website. It's made by Molniki Healthcare. So that's like a Swedish company or something.
Some
But it's
Sweden.
great stuff. It's good stuff. But it's not cheap.
Catch me from Sweden.
No, it is not. Wow.
No.
That's why
I bought a bottle for each member of my family, and I said, Merry Christmas. This is all you're going to get. Go scrub your damn hands. A little bit of that goes a long way.
Wow.
Make sure that your hand sanitizer is at least 60% alcohol.
Cool.
On the Missouri side, are you guys closing online or through email, or are you guys going to the office and closing?
DocuSign.
DocuSign?
I hope to be
Yeah.
going to pick up a check here. I would have them. I guess I could have them wired, but I would like to go pick up my check.
Yeah.
It just feel
It's
better.
good. It does.
Get you out the house anyway. You've been in cooped
Yeah.
up too many days.
Yeah. Just wear your mask. Get some HibaCleanse while you're out.
HibaCleanse, huh? Getting all the money. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Well, hey guys, I've got like 1:31. I've got a hard stop too, but I appreciate everybody coming today. Thanks so much. And like I said, if
All
you're
right.
interested, if you are interested in coming at the 6 o'clock, just text me your email. So I'll probably just email it out to everybody anyway. So don't worry about it.
Can we drink on that one?
Sure, you can drink on this
Okay.
one if you want.
Or,
We can drink. Wait a minute.
all right.
I was talking about alcohol, sweetie.
That's what he's got there. That was a
I'm just
Oh,
bottle.
I
being a
thought that was a
butthole.
bottle of water.
I know. Just,
Probably was. I'm just
it
kidding.
looked like
Okay,
water.
I'll see you guys.
Vodka.
Bye.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks.
All right,
Good to see you
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Middle East. Peace in the Middle East. Stream over. How do I end this? end, leave, and beeps. That's the end of that stream, family. And that's how we do it right here each and every, well, that time. That was just a little live stream. We were doing a little virtual meetup, real estate meetup. Come on back and check us out. Maybe this afternoon. I don't know. Should I come back this afternoon? Let me know. Post it in the comments. Should we come back this afternoon live on this channel? If you're watching it on YouTube at Chris Monroe STL, watching it on Facebook in the Woke Real Estate Investors Group, watching it on Facebook at the Chris Monroe Show page, or Facebook, my regular page, Chris Monroe. All right. So I'm about to get up out of here and do some more woke stuff. Thanks for that shout out to their Lavelle. Chris Monroe, I love what you're doing out here, my brother. That's right. We're doing some stuff. Brother from Mother. All right. So do what you do. Be who you be. And I'll see you before you see me.
And we out. And we out. And we out. Mr. I stay woke.